My wife insisted we were broke. No date nights, no vacations, no extra spending. Then one night, her phone lit up, "Your payment was sent. Thank you for your support." Confused, I opened the message. She had been sending thousands to a man's OnlyFans account. Instead of arguing, I transferred the same amount from our joint account to my own. When she finally checked our balance, she screamed. I just shrugged and said, "Guess we're both paying for what we really want." I never thought I'd be here, writing this, feeling this. I thought I had a good marriage. Not perfect, but solid. Sophia and I had been together for 10 years, married for 7. We had the usual ups and downs, but nothing that ever made me question her. I thought we were partners. I thought we were a team. For the past year, she had been talking a lot about cutting back on spending. It started small. A little comment here and there. Maybe we should eat at home instead of going out. Let's hold off on buying new clothes this year. No need to waste money on coffee when we can make it at home. I didn't think anything of it at first. Everyone was dealing with inflation, and money was tight. I understood. I agreed. But then it got more extreme. We stopped going out completely. No more date nights. No more little treats. No vacations, not even weekend trips. She made me feel guilty for wanting anything extra. If I mentioned grabbing a burger on the way home, she'd sigh and say, "I wish we could afford that." She said we were broke. I stopped buying anything unnecessary. I packed lunch every day. I wore shoes until the soles had holes in them. I picked up extra shifts at work. I barely even spent money on gas unless it was essential. Every time I wanted something, even something small, she would say, "We need to be careful or we won't make it through the year." I trusted her. She handled our finances. She always had. I thought we were in this together. But I was wrong. It was a Thursday night. Late. Sophia had fallen asleep next to me, her breathing slow and steady. The room was dark except for the soft glow of her phone on the nightstand. It buzzed. At first, I ignored it. But then another notification popped up. And another. Her phone was face down, but for a split second, I caught a glimpse of the screen before the messages disappeared. "Your payment was sent. Thank you for your support." I frowned. That was weird. I wasn't the type to go through her phone. Never had been. But something about that notification didn't sit right with me. Carefully, I picked up her phone and tilted the screen just enough to see the message. Then, my stomach dropped. The message wasn't from a store. It wasn't a bill. It was a receipt. A receipt for a large payment. I opened her banking app. My hands were shaking. I didn't even know what I was looking for. I just knew something felt off. And then I saw it. Payment after payment. Hundreds of dollars. Thousands in total. All sent to the same account. An OnlyFans account. I stared at the screen. My heart pounded in my ears. I scrolled up. My vision blurred. These weren't just random tips. These were recurring payments. Subscriptions. One-time gifts with messages attached. And then I saw the chats. She had been talking to him. Flirting with him. Laughing at his messages. Telling him how much she appreciated his time. She was paying another man thousands of dollars while telling me we couldn't afford a $5 coffee. I felt sick. I went back to the bank account. All the money she had told me we didn't have. It was right there. Just not in our pockets. I sat there for what felt like hours. My mind kept replaying the past year. All the times I had put something back on the shelf because I felt guilty spending money. All the times I had gone into work on my day off because I thought we needed it. All the times I had watched her shut down my suggestions for a date night or a weekend trip, saying we couldn't afford it. And the entire time, she had been sending our money to some guy online. I thought about waking her up. I thought about screaming. I thought about shaking her and demanding an explanation. But I didn't. Instead, I picked up my laptop. I opened our joint account and stared at the balance. I checked the transfers she had sent to him. I did some quick math. Then, I did something else. I transferred the exact same amount she had spent from our joint account, into my personal savings. Not a penny more. Not a penny less. It wasn't stealing. It was mine too. And if she got to spend thousands on what she wanted, then so did I. The next morning, Sophia was in a good mood. She kissed me on the cheek, made coffee, hummed while she cooked breakfast. She had no idea I knew. She had no idea what was coming. I waited. And then it happened. From the living room, I heard her gasp. Then a sharp intake of breath. Then, what the hell? I took another sip of my coffee. She stormed into the kitchen, phone gripped in her hand, eyes wide with panic. Where's the money? I raised an eyebrow. What money? The joint account. Thousands of dollars are gone. Oh, that, I said, setting my mug down. I transferred it. She blinked. You what? I shrugged. I figured since you were spending thousands on what you wanted, I should do the same. Her face drained of color. She stammered. That's not the same thing, though. Why not? She opened and closed her mouth. No words came out. I let the silence stretch. Then I stood up, grabbed my keys, and gave her a small smile. I'll be at the bank if you need me. And then I walked out. I drove around for a while after leaving the house. I wasn't even going to the bank. I just needed air. Space. Something to stop my hands from shaking. I could still hear her voice in my head. That panicked, high-pitched, "Where's the money?" Like I was the one stealing. Like I was the one who did something wrong. She had no clue what I had seen. What I knew. And that made me angrier. Because that meant she wasn't guilty. She wasn't sorry. She wasn't caught, not yet. She just thought the money was gone. I gripped the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. If I confronted her now, what would she even say? That it was just online. That it didn't mean anything. That she didn't think it was a big deal. I didn't want to hear it. I needed to figure out my next move. I stopped by a coffee shop. The same one I used to go to before Sophia convinced me it was a waste of money. I ordered the biggest cup they had, sat by the window, and pulled out my phone. My first instinct was to text my best friend, Daniel. He and I had been tight since college. He had seen me through breakups, job losses, family drama, everything. But something stopped me. Because Daniel was also friends with Sophia. And even though I trusted him, I didn't trust her. What if she had already spun a story? What if she made me out to be the bad guy? I wasn't ready for that. I needed facts. I needed proof. So instead of texting Daniel, I did something else. I logged into her email. She had given me the password years ago, back when we trusted each other. Back when there were no secrets. I typed it in. And just like that, I was in. The first thing I saw was a flood of receipts. Not just OnlyFans. Venmo. PayPal. Cash App. All to him. I clicked one of the emails. A payment of $500. The message attached made my skin crawl. For last night. You're amazing. Red heart, I sat there, gripping my coffee cup, trying to process what I was looking at. Last night? She had been in bed next to me last night. Had she been messaging him while I was asleep? I scrolled further. Months. She had been doing this for months. I clicked on her sent emails, my pulse hammering in my throat. And that's when I saw something that made my stomach turn. A hotel reservation. Booked under her name. Paid for with our joint account. It was for last month. A weekend I had been working overtime. And the worst part? She had told me she was visiting her sister. I dropped my phone onto the table. My vision blurred at the edges. This wasn't just some online flirtation. This wasn't just entertainment. She had lied to my face. She had taken our money, booked a hotel, and gone somewhere with him. I squeezed my eyes shut. My heart was pounding so loud I could feel it in my teeth. I needed to leave. I needed to get out of this marriage. But first, I needed more. I needed every single piece of truth. I left the coffee shop and drove straight home. Sophia was pacing in the living room, phone in hand, face twisted in frustration. The moment I walked in, she spun around. "Where the hell did you go?" she snapped. I shrugged, setting my coffee down. Had some things to take care of. She let out a short, bitter laugh. "Well, while you were off doing whatever, I was dealing with the bank. They said you transferred the money yourself." "Why?" I stared at her. I already told you. Her hands clenched into fists. That's not funny, okay? That was our savings. I tilted my head. Yeah. And what were you saving for? She blinked. What? I took a slow step closer. I mean, since we couldn't afford vacations. Since we couldn't afford anything. Since I had to pick up extra shifts just to keep us afloat. What exactly were you saving for, Sophia? Her mouth opened, then closed. She swallowed. You know how tight things have been. We had bills, liar. Her face paled. Excuse me. I pulled out my phone. I tapped the screen. I turned it toward her. The emails. The receipts. The hotel reservation. I watched her eyes dart across the screen. Watched the color drain from her face. I had never seen someone go from angry to terrified so fast. I didn't say anything. I just watched. Waited. Then, in a small, weak voice, she said, "Where did you find that?" Not, "That's not true." Not, "This isn't what it looks like." Not, "I can explain." Just, "Where did you find that?" That was the moment I knew. She wasn't sorry. She wasn't even ashamed. She was just mad she got caught. And I wasn't done yet. For a few long seconds, Sophia didn't move. She just stood there, staring at my phone, at the evidence of everything she had done. Then, slowly, her shoulders lifted as she took a deep breath. When she finally looked at me, I expected anger. Denial. Maybe even tears. What I got instead was something worse. Calculation. She was thinking. Plotting. She licked her lips. Listen, no, my voice was sharp. Cold. The kind of tone that left no room for negotiation. Don't even try it. Her mouth clamped shut. I took another step forward, closing the space between us. I want to hear the truth. All of it. No lies, no excuses, no twisting your words. Tell me the truth, Sophia. She hesitated. Her fingers twitched at her sides. She was still thinking, still trying to find a way out. I was done waiting. I yanked my phone away and started scrolling again. Should we go through every transaction together? Should we call your sister and ask her about that weekend trip? Should we, stop? Her voice cracked. For the first time since I had walked in, she looked scared. Not because she regretted it. But because she knew she had run out of ways to spin this. I crossed my arms. Talk. She opened her mouth, then closed it. Then opened it again. Her hands trembled. It wasn't supposed to be like this. I let out a hollow laugh. Like what, Sophia? You weren't supposed to get caught. She flinched. I didn't care. She squeezed her eyes shut and whispered, I thought it was harmless at first. I said nothing. She swallowed hard and kept going. I subscribed just to see what it was about. I never thought I'd actually talk to him. But then. I don't know. It made me feel good. Like I was exciting again. Like someone actually wanted me. My stomach twisted. So I didn't. Her eyes snapped open. That's not what I mean, that's exactly what you mean. She ran a hand through her hair, exhaling sharply. It wasn't serious. I scoffed. Oh, right. Thousands of dollars, private messages, a hotel room, but it wasn't serious? She winced. Was he real? I cut in. Was this just some faceless online thing? Or did you actually meet him? Silence. My pulse pounded in my ears. Say it. Her jaw clenched. Say it. She sucked in a shaky breath. Yes. Something in my chest cracked open. I didn't even know if it was pain or anger anymore. Maybe both. I stared at her, at the woman I had spent years building a life with, and felt like I didn't even know her. She had been lying for months. She had sat across from me at dinner, smiled at me, kissed me, while secretly funding another man's life. She had stolen our money to do it. And the worst part? She wasn't even crying. She wasn't falling to her knees, begging for forgiveness. She wasn't breaking down, admitting how horrible this was. She just stood there, looking trapped. Like she was upset that her perfect little secret had fallen apart. Like she was only sorry because she had no other choice. I let out a slow breath. I want a divorce. Her whole body stiffened. She inhaled sharply. Wait, no, my voice was ice. I'm done. She grabbed my arm, eyes wide now, panicked. No, 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 just wait. Please. I pulled away. I messed up, she rushed out. I know I did. But we can fix this. Fix what? I cut in. You didn't make a mistake, Sophia. You made choices. Over and over and over again. Her breath hitched. I turned away. And then, where are you going? She asked, voice shaking. I didn't answer. I just grabbed my keys. As I reached the door, she whispered, does this mean you don't love me anymore? I froze. For the first time in the entire conversation, she sounded afraid. But I didn't turn around. I just stood there, staring at the door. And then, in the quietest voice I had ever used, I said, I think I stopped the second I saw that receipt. And then I walked out. The divorce was messy. She fought it at first. Tried to convince me we could work through it. That it was just one mistake. Then she got angry. Tried to turn it around on me. Said I never paid attention to her. That I let the romance die. And when that didn't work, she got spiteful. She told her friends I overreacted. That I was controlling for checking the finances. That it was my fault we fell apart. But I didn't care. Because I had every receipt. Every message. Every transaction. Every lie she told. And when the truth started to spread. When people started putting the pieces together. She lost everyone. Even Daniel. I remember the phone call from him weeks later. His voice was tight, controlled. Man, I had no idea. I just nodded, even though he couldn't see me. Then he said something that stuck with me. She didn't even seem upset that she hurt you. Just upset that you found out. I swallowed hard. Yeah. And that was the worst part. It wasn't that she did it. It was that she never really felt bad about it. She just felt bad about losing. It's been a while now. I'm doing better. I got my own place. Got my own bank account. I stopped feeling guilty for buying coffee. And every now and then, when I think back to everything that happened, when I remember that moment I saw the notification on her phone, I feel nothing. Not love. Not hate. Not even anger. Just relief. Because I finally got out.